everything we do relies on this principle. One of the reasons like the team is efficient today is because we have like very, very robust process and methodology that everybody is applying this. It's a name we gave to our culture. Everything must be transparent. Like our roadmap, for instance, it's not just an internal roadmap, it's accessible by everyone. And when I'm saying everyone, it's also our client, all the revenue team, investors, prospects, etc. So everyone and aligned.
People and having the right culture.
We evaluate, we assess Convexity during the case study.
Will EdTech, remain just a tool to support learning, or is it like evolving into a complete ecosystem that changes how people acquire skills?
Bonjour and welcome back to the French Product. How do you scale a product that powers learning for thousands of companies? Today, Sarah Celnik, VP of Product at 360Learning, joins us to share a playbook on product leadership and strategy. She started out in customer success, moved on to operations, and finally led product. Her atypical path is the reason why I wanted to talk about their own culture. It's a concept that they named Convexity. And I think that it's the reason why they're so good at what they do. Stay tuned as we dive into this concept.
Sarah, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for being here. You started at 360Learning in customer success and operations. I wanted to know, you eventually moved to product. Is there, how did that path shape the way you think about product today?
Well, when you work in customer success, basically you spend your day listening to user.
Yeah.
So the real life challenge, all that problem, but also the good side. So all the value you are bringing. So very quickly you know that product is not about feature, but it's really about solving their problem, and ideally in an easy way. And I think that might be a reason why I attach so much importance in design, in all the conceptions. Like really, it's something I like reviewing Figma, mockups, etc. So really putting myself into the user shoes to ensure that really have a great experience. And then, yes, I moved into operations, so it added another layer, more about efficiency, scalability, making things work at speed, at scale, etc. So I guess that naturally in product, I think about impact, really, does it solve a problem? And scalability, is the product going to be sustainable in the long run? So I guess it had an impact on how I see the product.
Okay. And so when you were talking to people, sort of like building the product and again, starting by customer success, getting those issues and understanding what the real pains were, was it natural for you to move to product? How did you use everything that you knew and basically build the product afterwards with all these insights? Are there any rituals that you do where you make sure that products really talk to users? I want to understand how being in customer success helps you, because I know that your product people talk to a lot of actual users, and I think that really makes a difference, obviously, because they're solving problems.
Yes, I guess it helps a lot because you're forced to develop a lot of empathy to user, but also a bit of irrationality, a bit of politics, ambiguity, etc. And it definitely helped to have seen this, because I'm used to deal with ambiguity, a bit messy problems, and yes, product problem seems a bit easier afterward.
Yeah.
On the product side. So yes, this definitely helped, and all the operational. But your question were more on how I apply this in product, right?
How do you apply this? Are there any rituals that you've implemented with your team that you think are due to your past as, having done customer success?
So customer yes, so really all the deep diving, I think like the discoverability part is maybe even more important because coming from the customer success, maybe mostly operation actually, because it's really here that I learned to, to implement things to make the product and the team scale. And one of the reasons like the team is efficient today is because we have like very, very robust process and methodology and that everybody is applying this. And we're going to, I'm hiring, so we're going to grow a bit of advertising to grow again next year. And I'm quite confident because we have like a strong framework to be able to grow again.
Okay, so your background in terms of operations, it actually helped you prepare for scaling.
Yes. Actually, I was in product operation and we built this function because we scaled like quite fast, the product team, and we added a lot of people.
Yeah.
But the internal tooling was not following. And so very quickly we built this big function, and within 1 year we had to implement a new feedback collection tool, in-app communication, like a feature conception process, etc. So all the tooling very fast to be able to support the growth. It's one of the reasons that put the team on track.
Okay.
And the delivery kept a good pace. Thanks for that.
And how, because you said you were scaling very fast, and I know we were talking about this earlier on. You do have offices, but a lot of you guys work full remote. Plus, I know you have teams internationally. So how do you make sure, to give people autonomy and help them, innovate as much as they can, but still, letting them be autonomous in terms of product?
Well, first you hire the right people.
Yeah, which is not a small thing.
Might be obvious, but this is the start. And yes, my job is not that hard because I worked with brilliant people, so I can really rely on all the team. So this is the first step. And then we managed to scale with all the people in remote because we have a strong culture that is allowing this. Is it the moment when I'm talking about Convexity?
You can definitely talk about that, yeah. That's the focus of this podcast.
It's really at the core of how we work, so we can't not talk about Convexity. So
it's the culture.
Yes, it's a name we gave to our culture. Maybe before deep diving on how we apply in the product, a quick word on Convexity. So when we started 360Learning, so it was 12 years ago.
Okay.
13 years ago, 12. We're like a small team, like, so very focused on trust, accountability, etc. But as we grow, like what it's complicated is to remain lean, because usually in big organizations, like each time you add somebody, you lose a bit of productivity. It's mathematical, like, and we wanted to avoid this, so we create this team. It's not a. We're not talking about value. We're really talking about culture. It's more a teamwork framework, or a teamwork system of how we work together to ensure like we keep exponential productivity as we grow. And so we relied on a set of pillars. There are like 13. I'm not going to list all of them.
Okay.
But maybe the most important one. So impact, of course, it's super important for us. Transparency, like the information accessible, like all the information in the enterprise is accessible to anyone. Rational thinking, we take all our decisions like based on fact, data, etc. Low authority, like nobody's bossing anyone, and this is possible because of rational thinking, transparency, etc. Okay. So it's really a system that works together. And your life, your way. People love this one. Basically, like, you can work when you want, where you want, as long as it deliver your result.
Yeah.
No. And it's other pillar, but and it's good because it creates a culture of performant people, like efficient, productive, in a healthy environment.
Yeah.
And we don't do politics at 360Learning. Nobody is negotiating their salary. There is no ego in iteration. Like, we do our job and that's all.
Yeah.
So it's quite healthy, and this allows like this autonomy and the remote part also of the work, because everybody is like owning his scope, accountable, etc.
Yeah.
And maybe going back to the product part, everything we do relies on this principle. Like each feature, it's obvious to product team, but each feature will be tied to impact. But really, we have a strong focus on this. Everything must be transparent. Like our roadmap, for instance, it's not just an internal roadmap. It's accessible by everyone. And when I'm saying everyone, it's also our client, all the revenue team, investors, prospects, etc. So everyone and aligned. And we commit to this. Well, commit. We're not exactly committing to a roadmap, but
as much as possible.
As much as possible.
Yeah.
So it's transparent. We try to make it like reliable. So this is important. You all have your way. They work wherever they want. I don't care.
Yeah.
Of course. And maybe one thing that is very important is that each product manager own their roadmap. So of course I provide the vision, the direction, the expectation, etc. But in the end, they choose their roadmap and what they want to put in it. And it has to be rational, transparent, etc. But they decide. And me as a VP of product, I can give them some input, some feedback, of course, but it's not an order. And in the end, they own their decision, and there is, they can't hide behind a Sarah said so or whatever. So they're really owning it. So it's a mix of they are fully autonomous, but fully accountable. And it creates a system where people are really actor, like owning what they do, and not just executor.
Yeah.
And I think it's a part of the explanation of the success of the team.
Yeah, but I like what you said about. So you do have 13 pillars, which is a lot, but every pillar has to be respected and applied, because it's the sum of these pillars that allows everything to work. So I take it that according to you, if one pillar wasn't respected, then you couldn't have the whole ecosystem that works.
It wouldn't work that well. Like we have a pillar which is benevolence. It's one on our pillar. And it's important because you can't be just a bunch of robots who don't say hi and just do his job. It's also important for for the team to be benevolent. We have another pillar that is simplicity. And same, it's important because if you are like being super rational, but like super hard to understand and over complexifying things, it doesn't work. So yes, they all go together, and because they are applied together, it works. And it also is our iteration and all the feedback we can also give to each other. What you said was like a bit of rational, or let's try to be more simple. So it's not just a culture we're talking about, it's really something we apply on a daily basis.
Yeah, and you said, I liked how you talked about public roadmaps. This is something that personally I've struggled with in the past because it's hard to make it understandable by everyone. So there's your jargon, the words that you use internally that people understand. Do you have the same roadmap internally that you have to make understandable for the public? Or are they like two different ways of phrasing everything, and then you divulge a simpler way of communicating to like external stakeholders?
No, of course, we have various material. Just because not everything is interesting for clients, like all the hidden technical and small improvement work, like they're not supposed to see it anyway. And yes, also the way we are phrasing it, it's a bit more marketing, and we are also, of course, for clients highlighting how it will solve their pain, what they will get out of the future, whereas internally, sometimes it's more like technical details. So no, it's not exactly the same material, but we have rituals, like every quarter, to ensure that what is shared publicly, a quarter, sometimes less, is aligned with what we are doing internally and all the modification we did. And it's a real teamwork because we are also working with marketing, with technical writer, PM, etc. So there's a lot of ritual internally to ensure that it's transparent and still up to date over time.
Nice. And getting back to, so I like what you said about hiring the right people and having the right culture, which makes it so then people are autonomous, they're independent, they're responsible and accountable, and then they can actually grow and make the company grow. Have you had any time where you thought you found the right profile or the right person to hire, but then you realize that they wouldn't work because of one pillar, or one side of them would be like, oh, this guy's not going to be a team player. He's great in him, like in itself, like the profile, but then he's not going to be a team player. Or have you had people that get way down the process and then you realize that because of those pillars, you have to restrict and say that's not the right profile. It's a great profile, but not for our reality.
Yes, it's important what you just say, because it's not a good fit for our culture, but it's not a good people. Like, it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
Like the remote thing, very asynchronous, etc. Like, people just don't like it, and that's perfectly fine. So yes, there is really a fit dimension. And did it already happen? Yes, but it's quite rare actually, because, and one of our talent hiring manager, we put a lot of focus during the hiring process. We even have, like, the first step is, or the fourth, I don't know, culture fit interview. So it's really an interview with somebody, like, very focused on it, and we are going to assess as well. It's not common that the person doesn't pass this step, because we assess convexity during the case study. Like, is the person rational? Does the person take into account the feedback we are giving? Like, is the communication clear? So we are assessing everything. But yes, it's really important during all the interview. Like, just being an overachiever is not enough. But yes, it happens. Like, sometimes even people like thought they would be a good fit. Like, they thought it would be like great to work remotely and document everything, and it doesn't work. So, but it's quite rare, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, you have
the convexity misfit. We have other people issue, of course. It's not just not everything is pink, but the convexity fit, it's quite rare that there is a bad fit.
Gotcha. And how, what are the rituals or the frameworks that you have to keep people on track?
Well, there are a lot of rituals, of course, but maybe the first thing is on my side. Like, if I want them to be on track and autonomous, etc., I need to give, like, a lot of context, explain, clarify expectation, goals, etc. So this is the first step to ensure everybody is on track. Like, if nobody knows where we're going, it doesn't work. Yeah. So maybe this is the first step. And to ensure everybody is on track, it's quite common, I guess, but we adopted the OKR methodology like years ago. And so each quarter we have our team OKR, then squad OKR, and we have mid-quarter review and then end-of-quarter review. So with very harsh prioritization, like top priority, P1, P2, P3, etc. So it's, if people are following the process and if it's done properly, it's quite easy to track everything and to align everyone. And we have also layers of management. Like, we don't say manage at 360Learning, we say coach. But I manage like 4 group product manager, and each one manage like 3 product manager. Okay. So I have also this ritual with the group product manager to ensure, consistency and cohesion of the team. Okay. And so this is for the rituals. And after, again, looping into like all the process, we have a very robust feature conception process with a step, item to tick, validation, etc., to ensure that PM can be autonomous, but in the end, what lands in production really tackle the initial value we were seeking. Okay.
So how much time do you spend still talking to customers? And is there a type of customer that you specifically talk to? Do you talk like, to bigger corporations, to like smaller corporations? How much time do you spend, getting back into really understanding what the problems are to give context?
Me?
Yourself.
Yes. Well, less time than before. So usually when I talk to clients, yes, it's mostly strategic clients, so our biggest customer that I'm meeting now and then. It can be to present the roadmap, to give the vision, because they really need to know what's coming, to anticipate, and it's very important for them to feel that close to the product. And sometimes I jumped into calls while recording all customer success and protocol. So I listen to calls also very often to see what's happening. But yes, mostly big clients or important clients.
So when you say giving context, I'm trying to dig into what you said of giving context to the teams. Are you talking about the ecosystem, like the types of problems, or are you talking about the strategic paths that 360 wants to take?
Everything, because I need to be aware of everything. They need to have our long-term vision in mind. So what is 360Learning doing? They need to know our mid-term goals. Are we focusing on churn, on newbies in the next 6 months because of blah, blah, blah. They need to know that we need to focus on this client because it's particularly important. It's in warning and they have a lot of requests among all the products. So really what I'm saying, context in the very large sense.
Is there anything that because this is one thing that, depending on the size, so you've seen 360 grow basically almost from the start, and have you ever made a strategic pivot, like a real pivot, or a huge bet? Like, have you changed, the way you were going at some point because you said, no, we're going to focus on these types of customers, and, took a big turn that made the whole company change?
Yes, at some point we decided to go for enterprise market, and it's really a huge shift because it changed all the way you're working, and in many ways, for instance, at one point we stopped selling just one core product, but we also start to selling add-ons.
Yeah.
Like being a suite, we said a suite at the time, and yes, it changed things, and it raised a lot of challenge, and maybe one of we had many challenge on the enterprise market, but for instance, all the integration topic was really a big challenge, because when you move from a little startup to an enterprise player, you realize that you're no longer building a standalone product, but really you become part of a large ecosystem.
Yeah.
And integration become essential to success. If you don't have the right connectors, the right API, quickly you would hit a wall.
Yeah.
Because those enterprise accounts, they already have tools, they already have some LMS, talent management system, HRIS, etc. So it's not, you need to integrate seamlessly. Otherwise, you can't even get in the door. So it's really a must-have. And yes, I'm insisting on this because really for 1 year it was a huge challenge. We're all working on this, finding ways to make it work, etc. And there are still some challenges it's overcome now, but it's still a challenge. And so yes, maybe that we realize we are playing in a different field. Yes.
It made me think back to culture. When you scale internationally, because you grew, you went to the enterprise model, and then you started hiring people abroad. I'm thinking, going back to culture, was it hard to maintain the culture while you were scaling?
Yes.
Because as the team gets bigger, what did you do to make sure that the culture could spread and the pillars were strong enough so you could scale in peace, maintaining a little bit of control, I'd say?
Yes, it's not easy. And I'm not sure it's a geographical challenge a bit, but it's just a sizing challenge. You add more people, and all the pillars we discussed, they don't resonate the same for people.
Yeah.
If you don't explain it, if you say your life, your ways, maybe some people think they can just work how much they want, but it's not exactly the case. It's a bit extreme. Usually people understand, but it's not the same for everybody. So you need to invest time. At the beginning, we're small groups hired by the same people. The CEO hired everybody, so we kind of all understood what it meant. But yes, you need to be super intentional about it. You need to invest time. We don't have just the 13 pillar written on the wall. We have actually training. on our platform, of course.
Makes sense.
People are trained on each pillar. Like each manager is supposed to follow some training to understand how to manage people and how to cascade the culture. And we are being intentional, like from the CEO, all the exec team, like super involved in it. It can't happen like just by magic, so it takes time.
Yeah.
And I think, yes, there was maybe a short period where we didn't realize that. And for us, it was quite natural to work in this framework. And we started to see that things were a bit slipping away.
Yeah.
So we invested again time with HR, on training to maintain this culture.
Yeah, that's interesting. So I heard you said not manager or anything, but coach.
Yes.
And the way you expressed it, I felt that first there was a sort of like cascading effect where you understood the pillars and then you could, talk to like one level down and sort of explain the pillars, and then they're autonomous and then they go one level down. Now, what happens when you hire, let's say, a middle manager, middle coach, that has to really ramp up super quickly, understand the pillars, because if they're in the middle, you have to make sure that they're autonomous and they, give the same message down there. I'm wondering whether you have to make sure that middle manager really knows the pillars, or if you still manage to, have a flatter type of organization and make sure that from the bottom up, they also really know and master this so everyone can train each other.
Well, first, there is always a base. Like when we hire somebody, it's not somebody like who don't know what benevolence and rational thinking is. Like usually people understand what it is.
Yeah.
And so so the coach can be like coached by his own coachee, to reinforce like transparency, feedback, etc. You can coach your coach. It works, and you have all the support you can have from training, from HR. We also have peer coaching.
Yeah.
Like session between coach to exchange and challenge. We have asynchronous training and then a live session to discuss the challenge we have. So you're never like alone with your challenge. So I guess that helps new coaches.
It's well, for me, depending on the organization, it wasn't always easy because there's always ego. There's always, because when you say it sounds obvious, but having peer-to-peer, having your coachee actually coach you, that takes a certain mindset as well, to accept that you can learn from other people. In my career, I've seen many people who thought that being the manager meant that you knew everything and that your manager knew more than you knew. It's part of the culture as well to understand that you can be coached as a coach and have the humility to be coached and understand that you can learn from other people wherever they are within the hierarchy.
Yeah, in the end, you always go back to rational thinking, right? Really, it's for me, it's the core. Like if you're being rational of what you're supposed to know and supposed to do,
Yeah,
you have a job desk. It's written, so there's no point to have ego because you just do your job and explain things. For instance, I don't come from an engineering school, come from a business school. A lot of the product manager know more than me on technical thing, but that's perfectly okay. And I ask questions and they answer me, and they know that they won't get strong support on the technical side from me, but that's okay. It's not my job, and they have other support. So as long as you're at ease with it and you know what you're bringing to people, like that's okay. And I understand it's not maybe not natural for a lot of people, but again, we are looking at this thing during the interview process. There is a probation period. We have a strong feedback loop internally, so you receive also feedback from your coachee. We have like Pulse, NPS, etc. So even if it's not working with a coach because, I don't know, the person is toxic, or it's a bit of an extreme, but not enough rational, benevolent, etc. Like you have channel to report this, at least to give feedback. So there's also mechanism internally to maintain it. And also it comes from the top. Like we are very intentional about it. We have a CEO who really believes in Convexity. And so if it witnesses that there is somebody who don't buy in the exec team, it will raise a discussion, and it's the same until the bottom. So,
what's the balance between customer-driven, insights and requests, and your own product vision? You said maybe that you have a public roadmap. Is it something where you also, let's say, tease features, get people's insights on whether it's good or not, or if it's in the roadmap, it's something that you're already pretty much committed on, and you're just communicating?
Yes, there are two questions.
There are two questions. Yes. My bad.
Okay. No, but maybe the second one is maybe the easiest. No, we're not committing on the roadmap. Okay. So like the sooner it is, like the highest probability it will be, but we're not committing. We are committing on some feature contractually because sometimes it's a must-have. So, okay, but usually no, it's not a commitment. But going back maybe to the fair question, how we balance so our vision and customer request. Well, fortunately, usually in most cases, like client requests fall into our vision. So, but it's true that we need to balance and to also innovate. And this has been really part of our strategy to invest in innovation and especially AI. Actually, we built our AI team, I think it's 4 years ago. And so when we launched this team, it was really intentional because there is no demand from the market at that time. Like 4 years ago, nobody was asking for like building course within minutes. So it was really in the vision, intentional, and we made room in the roadmap. Whereas we had a lot of urgent requests, but it was really intentional. I think it was a good call at that time. Definitely. So yes, we need to be intentional. But as we are moving up market, especially on the enterprise segment, we receive more and more requests to fit like sophisticated needs that are not that visionary. Like we are doing learning, so there is a lot of regulatory compliance, training management that are not super visionary feature, but that are completely legit.
Yeah.
And if we want to deliver our vision to the enterprise market, we also need to deliver this feature. So it's always like a balance to find between keep the pace of innovation, but keep like answering enterprise client. And if you want like figures, like to be super concrete, maybe it's 30% of the roadmap that is really like innovation, pushing boundaries, etc. 30% answering client requests, 30% improvement.
Of the current platform. Okay, nice.
Roughly.
Yeah. Well, you talked about AI. There's two things that it reminded me of. So the current company I'm working for, so we use 360Learning. What I found very interesting is that the learning curve is really quick within the platform. I've seen companies where some people are in charge of training. There's a whole training department. And I don't know if it's due to 360, but I've seen a lot of people from IT that were in charge of deploying, for example, a tool, and then that were able to make a whole, course very quickly themselves without going through the training department, just because the platform was easy to use. And how do you use AI to make sure that it's easier for people to be autonomous and not leave everything to the training department, but, have people empowered and be able to make their own course?
Yes, first, I'm super happy to listen for this feedback and that you find it easy to use. And let's say that AI is helping with this, but what you described is exactly our vision from the beginning, like long before AI. And it's what we put behind the concept of collaborative learning. So it's our vision. We are building a learning platform, leveraging
makes sense,
leveraging collaborative learning. to scale skills development. And with collaborative learning, it's really learning with and from each other. And we believe that you can rely on your internal expertise to share knowledge and to make people grow. And that everybody in the organization can be an actor of this learning system.
Yeah.
But the bottleneck we could face was really a time, because it's super time consuming actually. If you ask to all your internal experts to build course, it's not their job.
Yeah.
It can take like weeks or months to build a great course. So you can just have this bottleneck. Like people don't know how to create course. They have all the expertise, but they don't know how to do it. They don't have the time to do it. Same for admin. It's a great system to leave everybody create content, but in the end, if you have like a super messy platform with inconsistency in content and people writing weird things and no moderation, etc., so it can be complicated. And the exciting thing with AI is that it's going to support this system and addressing all of those challenges. You can ask an expert to build a course, because basically it will take him maybe 1 hour, because in 2 minutes he will have a course written by AI. He can like change the outline, maybe review it, etc. And then it's done. So it's all the content creation that took so much time, like it's removed. And from an admin standpoint, like you can oversee also your prompt to ensure you have consistency and quality. Compliance also that is meet across the organization, so you keep the control of your catalog, your training, etc. So very like full autonomy and speed of creation for your expert, but as admin you keep everything in control. And from a learner, it's pretty obvious like how AI can help with these like better recommendations, fast access, etc. So I would say that you describe is really our vision, collaborative learning. It's a great story. We have a lot of companies who implemented it, and it's going to accelerate because AI is going to be a real enabler to deploy this vision.
Yeah, I believe that when you're a professional, you're the best fit to be able to talk about your own job or the topic you want to make a course about. For example, a designer is a way better fit than someone in the training department, because they're going to be able to pinpoint the things that are important, not just the basic theory. Right now, do you just use AI for content generation, or do you help for the format as well? Because as you said, you can have a course that's the content itself, so you have the whole content, and then again, as a professional, it's pretty quick to say, man, this is not important. Yeah, this is important. This is not important. But how do you make sure that, not just generative AI in the sense of like content, how do you make sure that the format, the way that the message is delivered, which is, again, the most important part, because you can have super interesting content, but not so interesting delivery. How do you make sure that the format best fits?
You have a lot of, you have to diverse your content, obviously, length, format, etc., to keep user interest, engage, etc. And as we'll talk about AI, this is really shifting how we are going to deliver trainings. Basically, when you learn, like you read something, it's quite top down. You will retain 10% of what you read, best case. Like the retention curve, like will fall like quite quickly. And because what you're going to retain is by doing things. You need to do stuff. You need to practice to be able to retain stuff. And to practice, it takes time, years, etc. But AI, again, it's not going to replace experience, but really compressing the time and accelerate it. Because with AI, you can create what we call situational training, so real-life scenario. So people can train themselves and do by themselves. If we take a concrete example, like let's say you're following like a management training on management, like how to become a great leader.
Yeah.
Well, it's a theory, but you're not going to be a great manager after you.
Yeah, looking at it. Yes,
obviously, because it takes months, years, because you need to face like complex situation. You need to have to handle like tough situation with your employee, low performance of a person that is facing like, I don't know, a divorce, or I don't know, like you need to face this situation. So it can take years. You made mistake with people, and yes. With a situational training, you realize scenario you can practice, and within hours, I'm not going to say you become like a great manager within hours, it's not possible.
Yeah.
But it's going to accelerate all the training because you're going to practice in a safe environment. You can make mistakes, like the most obvious mistake to make with somebody that you manage. You're going to make this mistake, you're going to receive feedback, you're going to practice, and you win like weeks, months of experience without hurting anyone. You can yell at your HR.
Yeah.
So this is good. This is really changing thing. We're experiencing at 360Learning, like the coach, we actually followed the training, and we had to deal with complex situation with navigator.
Yeah.
And yes, and sometimes you have to redo the exercise to really like find the good word, etc. So yes, it's quite powerful on this side.
Okay.
Not saying going to replace everything, of course, but really you can gain like months of experience training.
Yeah, but it's interesting to think about the fact that it can compress that time and help you get the knowledge faster. And then, of course, you'll have to experience the situations to internalize it. But at least the message, is clearer. And you can focus on the right things. I find this pretty interesting. And how, like, I'm interested in, will EdTech, remain just a tool to support learning, or, is it like evolving into a complete ecosystem that changes how people acquire skills?
Yes, we're in the middle of the question at the moment, and yes, it's changed a lot of things because I'm a product person. If you goes back to the pen, today that the information when you're especially in big organizations, are scattered in a lot of different places. So you have your internal knowledge base, you have a learning platform, and your CRM, and I don't know, but a lot of things. And it's painful for employees who are not used to this, like in their personal life.
Yeah.
It's way more easier at home. So there's a lot of cognitive load. It's complicated. You interrupt it when you're working, etc. And AI is a way to fix this. You can like have one single point of entry. It's easier to access knowledge. You can learn in the flow of work. Let me take example, but you're working on Teams with some colleagues, and you need information on some process. It's in your learning platform. You don't want to change tool, but you're just going to ask your chatbot, can you remind me how to do it? And the AI will talk with the AI of the learning platform, take the information directly, and bring it to you. So it really is. It's easing the access, and the learning platform become a hub and can interconnect with all other tools of employees. So there's no less need to go and look for information, but just to ask to your learning platform to bring you information. And beyond just, there is this information access, but beyond that, there's also the fact that everything is more and more interconnected. Like the learning platform is really shifting from just a course catalog to a tool that will more like support employees' growth, because it's you can interconnect your learning platform with your performance tool, and then with your talent management tool, your talent marketplace, etc. You can really offer your learner like a full experience, not just about learning, but also like how will learning help you to grow, to get to the next level, to internal mobility, etc. So it's not just a learning platform with a Netflix catalog, but a tool that will like take you from one point to the next one.
Okay.
So,
do you think in a more or less distant future, 360Learning could not replace, but in the context of the company, in the context of the company, sometimes I have a question and I'll go to whatever AI I'm using, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, whatever. Do you think that could replace, like if I have a question about product management or, getting the context of the company, because I know that enterprise companies, they're not too big of a fan of public artificial intelligence because you're giving out the data. If you give too much information, you're going to give figures about the company that you're working for. You're going to give sensitive data. So could 360 Learning be sort of an alternative? People within a company could ask questions like, hey, how would you do that? Or what framework would you use for that problem? And that could give more context with the context of the company, be more useful, and replace sort of like the public AIs that we're, let's be honest, all used to using right now.
I guess it's complementary because there's a lot of information, internal information that you won't find on the internet,
Yeah,
obviously. So yes, this is really the direction we are taking, and what you're describing is like already the case. Like you can ask question on an internal, either it's a process or like any content actually that is in a course. You don't have to browse the course, but you can just ask your question, and the AI of the platform. We can do it on 360 Learning, but I'm taking more broadly. You can ask your question and you will get an answer directly with the context. It can be also with your own skills, your own jobs, your own profile. And because the platform has all the context on the user, because it's also connected to HRIS, you can really deliver something super custom, like the content, but also the context. The context. So yeah, it becomes more than just learning, but very an enabler on a daily basis.
Yeah, this is super interesting because I know that many companies, like the bigger corporations I've worked for, are always worried about security, sensitive information. If it's your own algorithms, you can go further and allow people to ask their questions, get the context. And I'd say something else, because certain products are a knowledge base with an AI.
Yes.
And that's their whole job. Like, you can give an answer, but it's just like focused on your internal knowledge base. This goes a step further because this helps you with the delivery of information, making sure that you understand. And if you can plug it into your knowledge base, then it's an additional tool.
Exactly, and you can really imagine like a lot of things. You could like imagine like a learner asking a question and not receiving just an answer, but like a very micro learning module or just a podcast or giving you an article, just aggregating also any kind of format. So, well, there's a lot of things to do, definitely.
Yeah, this is awesome. Maybe it's super interesting. Honestly, thank you so much for all the insights. Maybe to wrap things up, I have a couple of rapid fire questions for you. Is there any online course that you'd recommend to anyone?
I train myself on a regular basis on Udemy because they're very good at art lessons.
Yeah.
Painting, piano, etc. Like very good courses. So nothing related with product,
Doesn't
but
have to be.
actually good, really qualitative content. I learned the basic of Figma also on Udemy. So
Nice.
I have a great catalog. So that's the first that comes to my mind.
All right, that's super interesting because I have, in terms of learning, that's something I wanted to share with you. Have you ever used Webflow?
No.
Have a look at their courses. I like stupid puns, and they make jokes every 3 seconds.
Okay.
It's like you'll get tired, but honestly, I've had so much fun learning how to use Webflow just because of the Webflow Academy. And this is why I like EdTech. It's because when you do have a platform that is that good at retaining your attention, you want to learn more. And it made me choose that tool over other tools just because of the learning platform.
Of course, internally we learn. We have like mandatory training on security, obviously, and it's not like the format is really funny. Like just chatting with a little elevator that made just some jokes sometimes, and it's very supportive and it's super quick, like 2 minutes. You just have to answer, click on 2 buttons. And now I'm happy when I receive my mail. You have a security training.
Yeah.
Like it's the most boring thing. Sorry, security team. But yes, it's supposed to be boring. But I'm super happy to follow that training
Yeah.
actually. So yes, the way you deliver the training, it changed everything.
It's for me, I've had a blast, and I'm always happy when the course is good because you want to learn more. Who's the best teacher that you've ever had, and why? And again, it doesn't have to be a product. Like,
I had a great French teacher in en sixième.
yeah, well, that would be damn.
6th grade.
No,
Doesn't fall like
no,
that.
it doesn't work like that. It works reverse.
First. I don't know. When I was 10.
Yeah.
When I was 10, yes, a French teacher, I'd say.
And why?
Because he was really making us do things, like we were all supposed to really invent story, build stuff. Well, like super free actually, but in the end, yes, we're always happy about what we've done. That's got great experience, and also a math teacher.
Yeah.
But it's mostly because I love math. So I guess I loved all my math teacher. No, it's not a
So
good
there was
example.
no reason for that exact person.
No.
I've had actually. I think my best teacher was a French teacher as well. I was French and Latin. I sucked. I was so bad, but he made it. He was always really encouraging, and I put a lot of effort into it. It just wasn't the way my brain worked. But he was always encouraging. I would have very bad grades, but the comments would always be, "Awesome, puts a lot of effort," and I would be really bad at it because Latin was not mandatory. So I was there for fun, and I think it's pretty cool because the reward that you get from people believing in you, and for feeling a sense of accomplishment, that makes a whole difference when you go through a course.
Agreed.
What's a book, a podcast, or a thinker that shaped your product philosophy?
Okay, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I don't read business book. So I don't have a book that shaped my product way of working because I don't have enough time to read business book. So I read a lot of comics book, novel, etc.
And is there anything that is not product
But
based on product?
But I think it's important for the work.
Yeah.
For product.
Yeah.
Yes. To clear your mind, become something else. There's a lot of psychological books also, like comics book, because I'm really interested in drawing, painting, so I think it also develops your creativity. And when you work in design, it's important. So it's not very tight, but yes, everything that can, fresh, open your mind clear your mind, etc. I think it's important in your work because if you're too narrow on what you do every day, it's not working on a long run.
Yeah.
Maybe it's personal, but,
no.
I think you need to think of a lot of different things.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think
so. My recommendation would be to read something else not related to products.
I believe I've had people actually answer it exactly this way. Nothing related to product itself, but other books that they read, or comics, giving you an insight on design. But design is a lot of things. It can be the user flow and experience, but it can also be your understanding color palettes and understanding the visual aspect of things. So interesting. And is there any bold bet that you're making with your product team right now?
Yes, but I won't say.
No, confidential. I like it. Okay.
Yes. No, we really want to push boundaries of innovation. So yes, we are investing in our resources.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll stay posted about this. If you could give one advice to a PM just starting today, what would it be?
I'm trying to look for not basic advice beyond just listen to your users.
it is one basic thing that
Yes, but it's quite obvious.
it sounds obvious, but so many people in the product world don't do any interviews.
Yes, if you well, do your interviews.
Yeah.
But no, if you're really starting, like, ask for other PM to challenge your work, because it's very hard to have all the perspective of one problem by yourself. Like, it's almost impossible. Like, when I think I covered all the issue and I show it to somebody, I always forget things, and it's natural. So don't try to be like the master of your squad and to control everything. Like, accept the challenge, accept the feedback. Like, yes, remets-toi en question.
Yeah, challenge yourself.
Challenge yourself, yes.
I like it. Great. Thank you so much.
Thank
you
you.
for answering all these questions, and those insights are super interesting. So thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope you found nuggets of wisdom in what Sarah had to say. Let me know in the comments below how culture impacts you on a daily basis, and if you've seen anything at your company or past companies that you really liked and made a difference, every day. See you next time. Au revoir.